Hi, Billy Merritt here from Infinity Greens, coming to you from Big Sky, Montana. Welcome and thank you for being here. Today we're going to focus on improving your digestive health, a vital pillar of your well-being. My goal with this class is to make this as simple for you as possible, and who says we can't make it fun too? What I am sharing with you are the key protocols that I have seen to have the most benefit relative to the effort you put into it. There is a vast ocean of information out there about digestive health, and just truthfully, so much of it has little value relative to just how hard it can be. I want you to get the most for your money and effort. The other factor is there are so many different body types and everyone's dietary needs are different, thus the sea of information. But what I'm sharing are the universals that will offer great benefit to everyone. I first just want to emphasize how much you can improve your life experience physically, mentally, and even emotionally relative to improving the health of your digestive system. It's extraordinary. So the importance of a healthy gastrointestinal system cannot be emphasized enough. It is something that really does affect every organ and function of the body, between cardio health, neurological health, immune health. It affects your sleep, certainly your day-to-day energy if weight loss is something you want. And digestive health can be a determining factor, as it is truly a pillar for every part of your health. So here's the good news. The good news is within no time, you'll find that your digestive system is getting stronger with these simple protocols I have to share with you. So it is part of your health actually that can improve in performance the fastest. It's neck and neck with the skin, which we're going to talk about here in the near future. And I will explain just how you can feel it. So this is a topic, by the way, I cover in more detail in my book, The Infinity Health Manual, but this will definitely get you started. So in essence, your digestive system plays two primary roles. It extracts nutrition from the foods you eat, and it eliminates toxins from the body. So when the digestive system is strong, it does an outstanding job in both roles. When it's compromised by a not so great diet and lifestyle, it does a not so great job. And so your diet, indeed your lifestyle, amplifies for good or bad your digestive system's performance. In fact, because of the dual role of the digestive system, a poor diet actually compounds the problem of poor nutrition. You're not taking in high nutritive foods in the first place, and the nutrients you are taking in aren't properly extracted for the body to use because of the weakened digestive system. So it really is just an unhealthy spiral. And the good news is, however, digestive health doesn't have to be complicated. Like I've talked about in the past, for optimum health in general, it's just about adding more fruits and vegetables. Of course, a host of other things, but what I'm going to focus on today is it's about the fruit and vegetables, the ones for digestive health, to be high in soluble fiber, water content, and healthy fats like from raw nuts and seeds, and also moderate amounts of good quality olive oil, coconut oil. This is fine too. And then, of course, along with unprocessed grains like oatmeal, rice, and quinoa as a few examples. Additionally, achieving strong digestive health requires some elimination, like cutting out processed sugar, flour, and low-quality animal protein, or even too much of the better quality animal protein. The truly animal protein doesn't do the digestive system any favors. I'm definitely not saying you have to be vegetarian, but these are inflammatory foods. So the intestines are extremely sensitive to inflammatory foods. Essentially, it just irritates the walls of your intestines, causing inflammatory response, and definitely nothing works as well. So We have talked in the past about how not so great wheat flour can be when it's a routine part of your diet. From time to time, these foods are no big deal, but wheat, for example, is such a common ingredient in so many foods. And it's actually a similar problem to sugar being it's an inflammatory, as are fried foods are another example. So we're trying to cut back on these inflammatory foods. And of course, increase the anti-inflammatory foods, your fruit and vegetables. So if these foods, not so great inflammatory foods, are a regular part of your diet, then it's crucial just to take breaks from them to give your digestive system a chance to recuperate. Now, the problem is the hard to digest foods we've identified over time do have a tendency to accumulate in the gastrointestinal tract due to that inflammation and lack of soluble fiber and enzymes, which we're going to talk about. And again, the fact that they're just inflammatories essentially is just slowing everything down, allowing toxins in your body that your body's trying to eliminate more opportunity to then be absorbed back in through the intestines back into the body. So, and again, this inflammation, this inflammatory response and things not moving through as well interferes with the body's ability to absorb beneficial nutrients. Now, by the way, the exception for animal protein is fish with anti-inflammatory oils, the omega-3s, the essential fatty acids. These omega-3s you can also get from nuts and seeds. These are healing, brilliant. It's an amazing healing food for the gastrointestinal system actually, as they are both anti-inflammatories, and the healthy oils help lubricate the walls of the intestines. So now, for the above reason, it's probably not surprising that the best foods for your gastrointestinal system are foods that are easier to digest. Now, what may be surprising also is that some raw vegetables aren't always easy to digest. It's the coarser, more rigid vegetables like kale and broccoli that can in fact be harder to digest when raw versus cooked. So with those foods, it's about striking a balance, mixing it up with some cooked versus some raw. And also, you may be familiar with my philosophy about tossing these greens into the blender with lemon juice and olive oil to have over steamed rice or with fish, making these foods raw, easy to digest. You're still getting the enzymes, and you're still getting the chlorophyll that makes the green foods green. That is a major score. And so if you have not tried my kale pesto, you got to give it a try. You can check out my recipes link and you'll find it there. Now the good news, however, is not even the hard to digest veggies, even these harder to digest veggies actually don't accumulate in the gastrointestinal system, that they do make it work a little harder, which that can be reflected by just indigestion and gas. So again, mix it up: blended, steamed, raw, and of course then there are the easy to digest veggies like arugula, spinach, mustard greens, cucumbers. These are all great. So again, cooked or raw or any easy to digest foods. It's one other thing that I want to emphasize with all of these foods, no matter what, is it's really important to chew your food. This deserves some extra attention here. That I mean, do you ever notice how fast many people eat these days? It's just the way it is now in this modern culture, that much of the world is in a hurry. But chewing is like phase one of digestion, and it's super important. There are actually digestive enzymes in your saliva that begin breaking down the food before it's even swallowed. So take a little more time, when you eat, and you'll get more taste out of your food, and you're going to just make things a lot easier on your digestive system. So a comment about fiber. Fiber, of course, helps move things along in your system, thus making it more difficult for things like parasites, which we're going to talk about in a moment, toxic material for that matter even, to stick around. So there are two categories, two kinds of fiber. There's soluble and insoluble. And so soluble fiber is what you get from fruit and vegetables. These actually break down and dissolve in your system. Insoluble fiber is the fiber you get from grains that actually doesn't digest. The exception being oats, which are a great soluble fiber. Insoluble fiber can still play a helpful role, though, because it does add bulk to your food, helping satisfy your appetite with fewer calories, which most people do need. But ironically, too much insoluble fiber can actually be a little constipating. Soluble fiber plays the more important role, keeping things moving through the gastrointestinal system. Flax and chia seeds are worth mentioning. They're an amazing source of soluble fiber, superior alternatives to other fiber supplements, of course, like psyllium husk, which is not so hot. And also, both of these seeds can actually lubricate the gastrointestinal system, both with the soluble fiber and, again, those essential fatty acids. So there are the sprouted raw flaxseed crackers. Those can be good, but the less adulterated products, are generally better. So I want to talk about just internal chemistry. First, just one unappealing consequence of a poor diet are parasites. Parasites are more common than we like to believe. The truth is we all have them. We all have not the bacteria we want in our system to some degree, but in general they thrive most on processed sugar and also flour, alcohol too. Now, note that parasites aren't necessarily little bugs. We don't want that image. It's even just like yeast fungus that we commonly call candida is considered a parasite when, and it's parasitic. It can be, it makes your digestive system weaker when it increases to higher amounts that, again, basically just interferes with the balance of the intestines. And that can also cause food sensitivities because your digestion is sensitive, less resilient, and thankfully that is, it can be reversible. So along with removing foods that candida and similar bacteria and parasites can thrive on, it is possible to do battle against such parasites, any kind of parasites, with various foods from time to time. There are various herbs that are just known to kill parasites. There are many, some, however, which can have undesirable effects. So I don't want to necessarily recommend any right now, except for the classic one, which is raw garlic. To be effective, however, garlic does have to be raw and unheated. Now, chewing raw garlic can actually be painful, not to mention it can be socially unfashionable. So you can just dice it up very finely to be washed down with a glass of water to spare yourself from having to chew it. And the reality is all parasites hate raw garlic. So the good news is once your system is stronger and balanced from cutting out the riffraff, your digestive system can keep candida and similar bacteria, parasites at bay. So, speaking of taking breaks from poor nutritional habits, this hopefully, to then make more lasting improvement in your diet and routine, that many people do like a cleansing routine from time to time. Some people, it's something you can do. You can fast for days as a way to detox and then some people do it just for the spiritual reasons as well. Um, I wouldn't necessarily advocate a heroic detoxifying cleanse for everyone, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend it either. Um, you know, it's something that I've done extensively myself, not really anymore, um, for a reason that I'll explain in a moment. But one easier way to do it, to cleanse, is by utilizing a liquid diet with an emphasis on juicing fresh fruit and veggies, not pre-bottled drinks. This can be good for cleansing purposes, but I'll share with you, I'm a bigger fan of smoothies. The advantage being that you're actually getting then the whole food, including that cleansing soluble fiber that comes with it. Now, it is true that juicing gives the digestive system a break while still providing the nutrients, but the blended foods do too, especially if you're using a high power blender, which really breaks things down like a Vitamix. So a quality high power blender is money well spent. It really is. And then, of course, there's the whole cleansing thing that we know about colonics, administered by like colonic hygienists. Um, and then enemas are just like a lighter version that is more self-administered. Not something I do so much anymore. I don't really do those anymore either. Again, I'm going to explain that in a moment. There is the other option that I think can be brilliant is flushing out the system top to bottom, and it's very non-invasive. It's a technique called shot karma, which goes way back to ancient health practices of Ayurveda, actually. Essentially, this entails drinking a liter of salt water that you can just mix yourself with non-iodized sea salt and purified water to make it basically comparable to ocean water. And this is actually extremely effective. The body can't absorb salt water, so it travels through the intestines top to bottom. Just make sure you're home and you have a bathroom handy for at least the next few hours, as all that water is running through your gastrointestinal system. This is actually something that I did for years. I think it's great. I don't do it anymore. I don't really feel that I need to. My philosophy just being the more cleansing diet in general. But the shot karma is a well-known practice. So fast colonics, shot karma flushes, all of these are effective. But again, what's most impressive is how the body will truly just cleanse itself if it's allowed the chance to do so with just a healthier diet in general. So even just a few days after removing too much animal protein, too many dairy products — I'm going to talk about dairy in just a moment — sugar, the foods with flour, the inflammatories, you're going to be able to sense like this toxic funk leaving your body. And I'm just going to say, it doesn't necessarily mean that's going to feel good. For a few days, you may actually feel a little bit of a sensation of a hangover because of a volume of toxins, metabolic waste, actually being extracted from cells. Your body has like this sigh of relief that you're getting the toxic funk out, and so cells that have been storing up this metabolic waste are like, oh, thank goodness, finally. Now, I will say, on the other hand, you may not feel like a negative sensation. You may actually feel great. And I'm going to talk about why in just a moment. So, after just more of the cleansing lifestyle like this, you may just decide to leave the less than healthy things out of your diet all the time, just instinctively, naturally gravitating toward healthier cleansing foods instead. So, a worthy food to mention for just cleansing foods is green foods. It's the chlorophyll from all green foods. Chlorophyll is what makes green foods green. The leafy greens, the blue-green algae, the highest source of chlorophyll. That is why it's one of the foundation ingredients of Infinity Greens. And these are especially important allies, high chlorophyll foods. And that's actually why I have a full chapter in my book dedicated to green foods. So I want to talk about healthy bacteria. The right kinds of bacteria are the building blocks of strong digestion. When that healthy bacteria settle in, colonize your system, from maintaining that good chemistry in the intestines, they actually become, I mean, they do a lot of things, but they become defenders. They greatly enhance your immune system. Now, we can get more of these healthy bacteria in raw fermented foods, the big ones being sauerkraut and kimchi. Super underestimated foods that personally I have every day. We're talking raw, non-cooked, by the way, that you're going to be getting in the refrigerated section at your local store. These have both the soluble fiber, the water content, and that healthy bacteria all in one. Associated with that is a newer term called prebiotics. Prebiotics, this term is just referring to soluble fiber from plant foods. And that is what makes sauerkraut a brilliant food. Flax and chia, taken with probiotics, like the probiotics and flax and chia combination and Infinity Greens is for that similar purpose. And probiotic supplements can play a decent role, but a probiotic supplement or capsule that are like the blends of the most common intestinal bacteria like Acidophilus, Bifidus, Lactobacillus. These are just a few examples. There are actually many. But these bacteria, as much as there are in these supplements, actually largely get broken down due to stomach acid. And that is what sets sauerkraut and these high bacteria foods an advantage, that it's soluble fiber with those probiotics that actually protect them. It protects the sensitive bacteria as it moves through your system to get it to where it really needs to be, again, making those foods much more effective. People often ask me about kombucha and yogurt. Yes, kombucha is fermented. It does have good bacteria, but it also does have sugar. So is a little kombucha with that sugar going to hurt for this reason? No, it can offer some benefit, a little. But drinking 2 kombuchas a day is definitely not something you want to be in the routine of doing, of course. As for yogurt, the advantage is the bacteria have eaten up the lactose, the milk sugar, to just make it more digestible. It is true that lactose in milk is not easy for the body to digest, and some people are just more sensitive. So now, do you get the benefits from the bacteria in yogurt or kefir? That's another popular dairy product. Maybe, but not much. You know, it does help break that food down, making it more digestible, but you're not necessarily assimilating that bacteria so much. A little. But again, sauerkraut definitely is the champion. So I can't rave about it enough, of course. So big picture, the main thing is microorganisms, the friendly bacteria, are working to inhabit your digestive tract, that's your intestinal flora, to greatly influence your digestive health. And by the way, how do you know if your intestinal flora is healthy? The most accurate gauge is, in fact, your bowel movements. That soluble fiber coupled with a predominance of healthy bacteria is what gives bulk. A healthy bowel movement is more sizable and, well, there's just no better word for it than satisfying. And so while on that subject, you should be having at least one a day. Regular bowel movements are important for making sure that toxins don't linger in your intestines too long, for the reason that I mentioned, that they can get absorbed back in through the intestines, which you definitely don't want. So obviously, a good diet aids this regularity. And for that enhanced gastromobility, we'll call it, common intestinal lubricants actually include high quality oils like coconut oil, olive oil, and then the soluble fiber, and especially the ones with essential fatty acids like flax seeds and chia seeds. Papaya and prunes are another couple foods that offer brilliant support for digestive health. Now, another factor of your digestive system, we need to talk about enzymes, which are super important for breaking foods down for proper digestion. And where do you find these enzymes? Raw fruit and vegetables. Enzyme supplements too, but enzymes from foods, especially with that prebiotic fiber, soluble fiber, are better. So I really just emphasize that. So for a digestive system that's slow to the point of constipation, you might be thinking about laxatives. I don't recommend using them except for on occasion, since over time actually your system can become dependent on them. But if and when you really do need it, I suggest senna, great option. It's a natural herb. It is a laxative. It is strong, so not something you want to become dependent on. I really emphasize aloe. It's a non-stimulant laxative, and it definitely just aids in elimination and can be great. There are stronger aloes like aloe latex, which is a stimulant laxative that is not to be used so often. Let's talk about water. Water also plays a big role in digestive health. We've talked about this before. Again, I have a chapter in Infinity Health Manual dedicated specifically to hydration, and I touch on this, how it's connected with your digestive health. For now, I suffice it to say that many of us are walking around slightly dehydrated some of the time, and it's no coincidence that many people are also walking around slightly constipated some of the time too. That it's about just drinking more water, and ideally to do the majority of hydrating throughout the day, to really just stop and drink a big tall glass of water rather than just kind of sipping on your water bottle all day. And this is rather than having your water with meals. You want to have less water with your meals. That hydrating during meals does slightly dilute your digestive enzymes. And so, it's okay to drink with your meals, but ideally it's better to hydrate throughout the day. And again, try to hydrate just less with food. Now, I want to say at the very least, and I know it's an irony, but try to avoid really cold drinks with food. While cold drinks during mealtime is a common theme, cold drinks do in fact really dampen your digestion. I want to take a moment, and this is huge, to emphasize how much gastrointestinal health is connected to brain health, which we covered extensively in my brain health class last fall, and you can find this recorded class if you haven't seen it already on the blog. Covered some super important stuff. Now, here's what I want you to consider with the connection between the brain and digestive health. The majority of the body's serotonin for your brain is produced in the gut, in your intestines, your gastrointestinal system, which is a mood regulator for the brain. That also there are actual neural pathways that run between the intestines and the brain. And what also just demonstrates this is that if you're ever feeling nervous, you feel the butterfly feelings in your gut. But actually, more information travels from the gut to the brain rather from the brain to the gut. So, that healthy gut bacteria is what really can improve this process of strengthening your mental and emotional health. So, tell me that's not huge. Um, so, like I mentioned in the beginning, the importance of a healthy gastrointestinal system just can't be emphasized enough. All of these factors considered. It really is a foundation of your health and an accurate indicator of it too. So give the protocols we covered, all of the things we've talked about, a go for just a few weeks. And I can assure you, you'll find the impact anything but subtle, and you can even feel a difference in as few of a days because of how much it affects your serotonin production. So now a special I'm excited to share with you. As you know, Infinity Greens is focused largely on enhancing your digestive health. It's all about that two-part process of drawing toxins from the body to be replaced with health-enhancing nutrition, then to be reflected through every aspect of a stronger body. It's that combination of probiotics, enzymes, prebiotics, soluble fiber, the aloe, the chlorophyll from the blue-green algae that creates that powerful synergy for this very purpose. And essentially just every smoothie you make with Infinity Greens or the capsules is an empowering little miniature cleanse, and no question can be a huge influence relative to everything in your body, relative to all the goals we've covered. And so, of course, just it's all about making everything stronger, all organs and functions in the body. So this is just to support your journey. The coupon code for 10% off today is Digestive10, just the number 10. You don't have to spell 10. So Digestive10 for 10% off your purchase of Infinity Greens. This is just a support to you. In the next video, very soon, I'm going to talk about, I'm going to take you step by step through actually your ideal day, making a routine as easy as possible with like the optimum sequence of foods. Of course, this is also related to your digestive health and of course everything else, all aspects of your health. So as always, in every way possible, there is the opportunity to improve our health. Always more and more to just cut back on the things in life that don't offer us the improvement. The unhealthy foods, stressors, things that just interfere, and to be replaced with the right foods, the life and enriching lifestyle, a solid practice of self-improvement that just by nature will bring us greater joy and life force and sense of well-being, and just makes the body just more resilient to disease, and of course just everything in the body lasts longer. So pass this video along to your friends. Let's motivate together for just the sake of living our lives to the full potential. We're all in on this together. And so we're doing this for ourselves, but for everyone else too. And generations to come, why not? Our kids and their kids. So naturally to be just a positive influence to a world that really needs it right now. So thank you for joining and have a great day.